I worked really hard on this. I'm really proud of it, and I think that so far this has like been my most complicated build and the quickest build. It actually took me 2 weeks from start to finish. That's patterning, putting the like warble on, and paint job, sealing, complete. The only thing that was made after the fact was my chain chomp, which is my weapon. I made that just before Expo, Edmonton Expo, which was not that long ago, as well as my boot armor, because I didn't get the right boots for this costume until after I needed it for an event. So if you guys, like I said, have not seen my Bowser armor, it is based off of the drawing by Fischer. The armor that he had made, or the image that he had drawn for Ivy DoomKitty, I will probably put somewhere around here. It's really cool, it's really intense, it's really incredibly detailed, and I couldn't do anything other than be all fangirly over it. I decided to take this image and create it. So I'm going to go into probably, I have it all packed from when I was at Expo, so you can see the top of it here. I'm just going to pull everything out as it comes, so it's not going to be like an order or things like that. I'm not starting from top to bottom. It's going to be piece here, piece there, whatever. So anyways, if I don't drop it all, this is the first piece. This is my chest plate. It is so big. I can't like, I know I'm not a small person, and well, I am a short person, but I know I've got really big, broad shoulders, and I've got lots of assets, so I never really assumed how big a chest plate would be for me, and making this was insane. So this is all made out of EVA and Cosplay Flex with some Warbler. So all of these are Cosplay Flex. I hand sculpted each and every one. Each scale is individually cut and pieced on. I've never done scale work in my life. It's not the best. I apologize, but I think it worked perfect. I actually redid the detailing on the breast part here twice, because I thought it was more 3D, and so I made it kind of stand out. I didn't like it. I ended up ripping it off and redoing it and made it the 2D with more detailing in the painting. This was, like I said, my very first actual chest piece, or breastplate, I guess you could say. How I attached it, in case anybody is wondering, is actually just like buckles. So it literally just opens up, and then I put it on sideways. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, so like I just slide it on like this, and then around, and it's locked on. So it's really cool. It's really actually quite easy to get in and out of. I did take this to Toronto. I wasn't sure how I was going to travel because it is quite big. Worked out pretty well, but I think my next breastplate, I do have a better design in mind to help with travel if I decide to take it anywhere. So again, you can see here, this is actually Warbler. This is Cosplay Flex here, like all this stuff here on these edges. Then this is the EVA foam that is the backing for the actual templating. The templating took me, I'd say, a good day. No, that's a lie. Probably a couple hours to make my template and then work off of that. So it didn't turn out too bad. Okay, so this is my headpiece that I came up with. I don't know how Ivy did hers. I couldn't really see from her imagery, because I did actually look at her reference pictures a lot, because I mean her build is so pretty. So I was trying to see what I could do, but I came up with this because I figured that this may be the easiest way. So this is just a Cosplay Flex crown, which I did cut a paper pattern and then made this. It's just double layer of Cosplay Flex. There's no foam in it, no nothing. And then I made these horns. This is out of Model Magic, so it's really lightweight. Like there's nothing really to this. And then I made the band out of Cosplay Flex as well. And again, it has just a little clip on it. So when I made this, I made it so that it would fit with my wig, and then I decided that I was going to dye my hair this color so I didn't have to wear a wig with my Bowser costume at Expo. The disadvantage to that was the fact that this did not fit on my head properly. I don't know if you guys seen, but in half of my pictures my crown is kind of sitting like sideways on my head, and it's just because that's the way I had to pin it, because even though I do have a really fat head, like I have fat head syndrome all the time. Hats barely fit me. I have a hard time finding wigs that actually fit comfortably. I have to extend them. It's chaos. So anyways, this was meant to be like slide on like this in my wig, and like see right now, like you can see it's like crazy big on me, but if I have my wig on, it actually just, you part the wig, you place it on, and it sits, and I don't have to touch it. So look how cute it is. I love it. I should put this on my critter. Maybe he could be Bowser for Halloween. But anyway, so that was the way I did my tiara. Again, I don't know how Ivy did hers. If you guys have any more tips and tricks on how to do headpieces, that'd be great. I need them to be functional for wigs and no wigs. So that's kind of my deal. Okay, the next thing on top is my boots. Okay, this is the best story. If you guys didn't watch me doing my live feed when I was making these, oh my gosh, you're gonna laugh. Okay, so these are actually what I used for my Rogue cosplay. And then I switched them to being my Bowser. These originally were for my Emma Frost. I have retired that costume, so I've decided to paint them and use them for something else. The only problem is these are actually broken boots. They're glued right now and actually stayed, which was really impressive. But this whole inner part here is completely disconnected from this part of the boot. So I was walking like in flip-flops at Toronto because my boot kept flopping. Anyways, so I made these boot armor pieces. These I did live. They are strictly craft foam and cosplay flex. Excuse me. These themselves are just cosplay flex that I had shaped. Back here is again a same style with craft foam and then cosplay flex and then painted to match the rest of my armor. So that's my boots, which I was really happy. This is my first time ever wearing boot armor, and I didn't do too terrible. They did pop off when I got to the expo and had to re-glue them, but that's not a big deal because I was lucky enough to have Just Because, like a couple booths down from me, and they had Barge. So I went and I bought Barge and I fixed my stuff, which works perfect. Always have a first aid cosplay kit, or if you're lucky enough to have a cosplay repair booth at your con, it's really worth it sometimes. This is the arm piece bracer, and it is made out of cosplay flex, EVA foam, and these themselves are actually hollow. I made sure they were hollow so it was light as I could make it, I guess I should say. So they're actually hollow, made with craft foam and then cosplay flex on top. This thicker line here on my work in progress pictures, I had tried a couple different things. I had made the whole thing out of craft foam, and then I had made this detail, but it didn't pop out the way I liked it. I was very upset because I lost a lot of it, and I ended up redoing it by making this out of thicker EVA, and then I dremeled it down to give it this little edge to make it more, I don't know, dimensional. I think they turned out really great. It took me quite a while to paint them to get the shading and stuff the way I liked it, and I think it turned out great. Up here is actually a whole nother section of EVA that I put on, and then I painted it to match, and I think so far they looked pretty fantastic. This thing here is actually like a bracelet, so this is my, make sure you label your armor, you guys, because sometimes when you heat it up to like form on your body, if all of our bodies are different, and I mean, I have like a weird thing on my right side of my body. I always mold it differently compared to my left because I'm right-handed. So this is my left side. So this one I can actually get on by myself. So next piece, there's the other bracer and a sock, because I always keep my socks with my costumes, with my boots, because sometimes I forget and I wear like flip-flops to a convention, then I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't bring socks. This is going to be so uncomfortable. So I always pack socks in my costume box with my boots, so then I don't have to worry about it if I forget. I'm not that big of a deal. Alright, so this is the next piece I'm going to show you, and this is actually the calf piece. This part goes up on your knee, and then this part goes lower on your calf, and again I have it like a band. This part was complicated for me. I should have made it a bit different. I wish I would have just done foam, but I didn't. I covered in cosplay flex because I'm not really that good at foam work. I'm good at foam work. I'm not good at finishing foam, I guess would be the way to put it, because all this is foam work and then I cover it. But this again is just thin craft foam. Each individual scale was cut out, and these ones I actually cut out and then I covered individually and then I pressed onto this. So it was a little bit more of a process than the bracers, but I liked the way that it turned out because it looked more 3D compared to when I had them flat. I don't know why it didn't work the way I wanted, but that's okay, I fixed it. These again are Cosplay Flex. I hand molded these. These again are hollow tubes, which are filled with craft foam and Cosplay Flex over them. This again is a thicker EVA foam and just wraps around. Easy. These are all Velcro. I try and make it as easy as I can to get in and out. This is the best part and the worst part of this costume. This piece made me angry. And I'm little, but I can rage. This corset here is actually from Amazon. So it's like a $20 corset. I purchased this, you can see hot glue. Like, see, no, it's this side. Where is it? Yeah, so that's a batch of hot glue because there's Velcro in here, and this Velcro is actually to hold my like loincloth piece. But anyways, this is a black corset that I purchased, and then I had hunted down this type of fabric. Sorry, anyways, so this fabric was a pain in my butt. I tried every freaking fabric store here. I tried ordering it online. I found one that had the scaling, and then I was like, oh, it's like gray. So maybe if I dye it, as soon as I dyed it, all the scale work left, and it just looked like a green piece of material with this really weird embroidery. I don't even know what was going on, but it didn't work. So luckily, my lovely friend, and I know I say it a lot, but the owners of Just Because came to my rescue. They were able to find this material for me. Like, I literally sewed this fabric to this corset. It was really complicated and difficult because there is no stretch to this material. So trying to keep it straight was a challenge. Trying to stretch it, because the corset obviously is not flat. Like, it has bends and curves and things. So trying to stretch it so that it would go around. Like, you can see these little, how it's like kinked. I couldn't get those out. So it was very frustrating, and I eventually just was like, you know what? It needs to be done. And I got it done, and it's not as terrible as I thought, which is great. But this is the look. This covers my bits. Yeah, so this is what I did for my loincloth. Seriously, just has Velcro strips. It goes up and under the corset, and that's all that's holding it there, is these two little Velcro strips. So that's one of the pieces of the loincloth. And then this is what I'm talking about being thrifty and repurposing. So this is my skirt slash cape slash undergarment, excess loincloth, whatever you want to call it. So that part, actually, let's see if I can, it's not in the right place. It's so funny. This is like the biggest ghetto piece ever. It's so funny. Okay, so that longer section is actually like the loincloth. So like right here is like the loincloth area. This goes up almost under my bust. And the reason for that is it's actually a curtain. I didn't have red fabric, and I needed red fabric, but I had curtains. So I checked my curtain, and I made this. It worked! Now I need new curtains. I seriously didn't replace it, so I do need a new curtain. But it worked perfect, and it was my first time ever making things that were like shredded, so that was really cool. It turned out pretty awesome. Pretty happy with it. So yeah, that's my ghetto piece. And then what's left? Oh, there's only like a couple pieces left. This is like the easiest armor go through ever. This is my collar for my costume. This, you guys, is seriously a strap for dollar store knee pads that I used for my shredder costume, and this is the strap that came with them, and I've just kept it because I'm like, you never know if you're gonna need something. And then these are just Model Magic again. I shaped them, painted them, and hot glued them, so very simple, very basic. This itself took like, I don't know, a day because I had to let the Model Magic dry. But other than that, it would have taken like no time at all. This was a challenge. This is my belt. So I love this. This is my favorite thing out of the whole costume, and I know that sounds silly, but I love how this turned out. I actually cut this out of EVA foam using a X-Acto knife or box cutter, whatever you guys want to call them, then covered it with Worbla, and then made a Worbla belt buckle, and then attached it. This itself is a pain in my butt. This is a ribbon, and so this ribbon actually comes like this. Okay, and it's elastic, so it kind of made it even better. So it comes like this, and then I took it and I split it because hers has the 3 strands on either side, and I couldn't find the proper, or what I would assume would be the proper type of fabric or ribbon to use. So this was a last resort. So I cut it, and then I had to burn the edges, and it's still fraying, and it's still a pain in my butt, but I think it looks great, so I'm not going to fix it until I find a better ribbon. But this itself, this is like, this part that hangs is so funny. So this part that hangs actually flips up, and behind it is these 3 panels where it just Velcros. So again, Velcro easy. I can put this on myself, don't have to ask for help. It's nice to have help, but I don't have to. And then at the back portion where it sits on me, because I did cut them individually, I took a piece of black felt, which happened to be patterned because I was trying to make this for my corset fabric. But anyways, it worked out perfect because I kept it and I put it on the back portion where I didn't need them to be separated. So they are technically still separated. You can see the little divides, but I didn't need them to be floating, I guess would be the word. I wanted them to be stuck where they needed to be and just have the sides be able to move. So that's what I did, and that's the belt. Alright guys, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions or anything else you'd like to see or hear about my armor, please let me know. Put it below. I'm also going to be linking Just Be Cos's page where you can get cosplay supplies and everything like that. That's where I get most of my stuff, as well as they host classes and tons of information in one whole site, as well as Zach Fischer's site because he is responsible for this build. I did copy his artwork, which was phenomenal, as well as Ivy DoomKitty's page. So everything will be listed below in the description box. And remember guys, to like, subscribe, and share. Bye!